Don't EV batteries rail really fast?
So when we talk about battery degradation, I mean, we've all had cell phones and other electrical devices that, when I'm in Edmonton and I forget and I leave it in the car, I come back the next day and the battery is just toast. So what's important to know is that electric vehicle batteries are very different than the batteries that we have in our laptops and cell phones, which is what we're most familiar with when it comes to these lithium-ion batteries. They're much larger and they have energy management systems that will actually maintain a certain core temperature, a stable temperature. So if you're in a very warm environment, it will keep the battery cool. And if you're in a very cold environment, it will keep the battery warm. And that really prolongs the life of the battery. So some of the figures that we're seeing around batteries is that they can last up to 1 million miles. Bala, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah. It's easy to say that batteries would last for 1 million miles, but yes, batteries do need to be replaced once in a while. And when I mean once in a while, it's completely down to the factors that Patrick did talk about right now. We're talking about weather, we're talking about how we use the vehicle, how many times we charge, where we charge, and all these things put together alters the entire life of the battery pack. But however, most people are seeing 5-6 years, no complaint use of their battery packs, and then maybe in some cases people do change, sometimes people don't and just keep running, and it's down to a various number of factors, but that's where it is.
So on average, you would say 5 to 6 years?
For most of the old vehicles so far, but with the way battery technology is going right now,
yeah,
we probably will see longer lasting batteries as new vehicles come in the market.
Amazing. Can EV batteries be recycled at all?
That's actually a very interesting question. So we have to look at EV batteries in a different way, just like how Patrick did bring it up. Like say if we talk about a battery in a phone or a laptop, when we say that the battery is dead, the battery is dead. We're not going to make any use out of it. But when it comes to an electric vehicle's battery, what happens in an electric vehicle is when we call the battery is dead, it's not the end of the life for the battery, but just for the use case of being in a car. So once we call a car's battery dead, what happens is these things get repurposed in various other industries. So far we've seen use cases where a car's battery ends up being used as energy storage systems. So people set up their solar panels at home, or a small inverter electric inverter system that's powered by these battery packs. So they just break the battery pack into smaller pieces, and it's got a lot larger life cycle. In a layman's term, if I have to put it, we can say that just for example, a battery pack say of 100% capacity would stop being used in an EV at say 75 or 60%, and then it's still got that much life, and then you just use it for your powering your house or going off grid or something like that. And that way you just, prolong it for another 15-20 years after that.
Oh, that's amazing. Definitely. And so my last question is, what kind of batteries do electric vehicles use?
So primarily they use lithium-ion batteries, but there's various different chemistries under that umbrella term that they can be using. Some of them do use cobalt, and some of the more, I would say, less sustainable materials. Others use iron or some magnesium or nickel primarily. So all these different elements are going to have different chemical properties that make them either safer, better performing, extend the life of the batteries, or maybe just makes it more sustainable. So
just to add to that, there are a lot of different kinds of batteries, like Patrick did mention, and there are a lot more interesting technologies that are coming out that are not going to use any of these complicated materials or polluting materials in the future. So maybe in the next 15-20 years we'll see battery packs that are really different to what they are today. And it's not something that I can say yes, all electric cars run on this type of battery. But at the moment, it's called a lithium-ion battery, and there are quite some chemistries like he did mention. And as we progress into the future, we're just going to see a lot of combinations of elements being used in these battery packs.
If you want to see more of this conversation, get in touch with us at fleets@pluginbc.ca, and we will direct you to the entire video and also be happy to answer any additional questions you may have.